So you've got a long list of boat projects, and how do you actually organize it? I've talked about this before. This time around, I've got another way for you to organize your boat projects so you don't leave any out. Hi, I'm Nico Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. Yep, we're talking about yet another list of boat projects and how to think about them when you're trying to figure it all out. Today's episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by Northwest Explorations. They're your one-stop shop for all of your Pacific Northwest cruising needs. There's bareboat charters, guided flotillas, powerboat training, service, detailing, and brokerage. Northwest Explorations is located on the Washington coast and on Vancouver Island, so you're covered no matter which side of the border you're on. Visit nwexplorations.com to learn more. When we first started thinking about the long list of projects that we needed to do for Calypso the last time around, because we're back in the boatyard. The last time around, we just started at the back of the boat and worked our way forward, just marking down every single thing that we needed to do in every area of the boat. While it was maybe a little bit distressing and discouraging, it was comprehensive. This time around, hopefully we don't have quite so many, but we wanted to think about a way to organize them so we still didn't leave out the important ones. So this time, we actually thought about kinds of projects that drove the organization. The number one sort of thing that we're dealing with on this haul out is leaks. Every place that we noticed there was a drip coming in where we didn't want them to, we've taken all that hardware off and we're rebedding it. Things like the handrails, the staysail track, the sills that go into the companionways, the chain plates, the portholes, the deck prism, the raw water line for the head. All of those are subject to or sources of leaks, and we're going to address them during this haul out. Similar to that comes rot. This was actually another monster one, and this is Jeremy's great big one that we've been really worried about and concerned about for a while. The places that there's obvious rot in the wood. Things like the taffrail and the bulwark. Those pieces are off the boat and we're replacing them. So the first two kinds of projects are all about really kind of structural, but also absolutely quality of life. The next two types of projects are maybe a little less required. They will make a big difference in terms of our enjoyment of the boat, both in terms of how it works and also in terms of just how it looks. Because yes, the aesthetics are a part of what we really enjoy about our boat. So another section is the beautification. We're looking at things like covering up the hull to deck joint inside with beautiful mahogany strips. We're looking at sanding and fixing up the floors. The teak floors need to be sanded down and just brought back. There's a whole lot of stains and that sort of thing on there. We're cleaning up caulk from other projects that we've done. We're varnishing, we're painting, working on the stack pack. Jeremy's built a new stack pack, replacing porthole glass, chain regalvanizing or replacing the chain. And beautification kind of rolls right into the upgrade and general fix. And the big one in that particular category is the shower compartment. The whole forward section, the old V-berth is going to be turned into a shower compartment so that we can shower down below. We're adding some more interior lighting. Jeremy's building a new table for Calypso. We borrowed the one from Mischief for the summer's cruise, but now it's time to build one that will fit for Calypso. Finishing up the wind vane, making sure we have a bulb in the compass so that we can see it at night. Checking on all the wire runs and tightening those up. Adding the second propane box. Putting on stanchions. Adding the extra solar panel. Building the hard dodger. Masthead light replacement, putting on radar, adding heat. So some of those are ones that we won't get to. I'm sure that we won't get to them before we splash the end of March or early April. The big ones, as I mentioned before, are taking care of the rot and take care of the leaks. Part of the leaks with taking off the chain plates also means that it's a good time to be doing the hull painting that needs to be done. We absolutely will do the shower compartment. And the stanchions for the new solar panel, which will require some work that we can't really get done in Deltaville. So we'll definitely wind up fine-tuning this list, particularly the numbers that are on it and the projects that are on them. But the organization and how we thought about the project list for this particular haul out were really different than the stern to stem list that we made when we started to work on this in earnest. This time around, we're dealing with leaks, we're dealing with rot, we've got beautification projects, and we have upgrade general fixes, starting with the shower compartment. There are, of course, daily immediate focuses. And Carolyn Shearlock asked me the other day what our immediate focus was. And that was actually pretty easy. Before we put the boat into the shed, we have two boats, so we have two immediate focus points. And for Mischief, it was getting the engine started, which did involve the electrical system. And for Calypso, that immediate focus was getting the boat into the shed. And those two things actually happened. Now, if you asked me what our immediate focus was, I would say that for Calypso, it's focusing on prepping for paint so that when we have warm days, we can start the paint project as we need to. There is, of course, a lot going on in our world in addition to the boat work. And one of those things was kind of trolling around on Craigslist and finding a new dinghy that is technically supposed to be for Mischief, but I think we're going to wind up using it for Calypso. We bought an 8-foot fatty knees with a sailing rig. Maybe there should be a whole nother category of projects and just leave it kind of up in the air, and that's the surprise category, because that certainly is exactly how the fatty knees fit in. And maybe that's a side note, right? That with all these boat projects that you have to leave yourself open for something fun to come in. We've already sailed that fatty knees a couple of times. In fact, did it on the very first day of January of this year. It's nice to be able to take a break from boat work and to be able to go sailing or do something fun. And sometimes that's as important a boat project as any of the other ones that you took off the list. I can't wait to share an anchorage with you and hear about what your boat projects are, either on the, I'd like to get them done, or we did those, or, I don't ever want to have to do them, because we all have those kinds of projects too. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. There's a link to both my email and Carolyn's email in the show notes, and we love it when you share us with your friends. The more people who are involved in the Boat Galley podcast community, the better. Have the most fantastic week.